Welcome back to another PHP tutorial with PixelWeb. In this episode, I'm going to introduce you to the switch statement, which is another way to do conditionals within PHP. If you recall, previously, we generated this snippet of code here as an if, else statement. This is one way and very general way to do conditionals within PHP. But we're going to look at this switch conditional. So I'm going to comment this code out, and I'm just going to type out the variable x, assign it the value of 20, close it off. Just remember, since it is an integer, it does not require quotation marks. Give yourself some space. I'm going to type out switch. Make sure you spell it correctly, and then in parentheses, the condition we're going to test is the x variable. We're going to test that out right there. So then we open up our curly braces. Inside the curly braces, what you're going to want to do is type out case. And then since we're doing a comparison, this is very important with switch statements. Since we're doing a comparison, we need to put in the variable in this case here. So we're going to test out the condition of case of x, and then to see if it's greater than 20. And then if it is, then what we're going to do is we're going to echo out x is greater than 20. Nice and simple like that. And then underneath we have to put in the break command. What break does, it tells it that if this condition is correct, that x is greater than 20, and it echoes this out, there's no need to process any further down the list of options that'll precede this. But if this is incorrect, now let's move on to the next option, the next potential value. So then we'll type out case again, x. Now we're going to see if x is less than 20. I'm going to put in a colon. We're going to type out echo, and then we're going to put in x is less than 20. Okay, and then after the semicolon, we'll just type out the break. Let's clean this up, make it easy to read. That's the beauty of having the Atom text editor. It can auto format or show you if your PHP is lining up as it should. So that's a really good feature. You see how I have it set to show the spaces here. All right, so now we're testing to see if x is less than 20. And if that's true, then we're going to stop the processing and just output this, and no need to go any further. If that's not true, then we're going to go down. We're going to do a default command, and then in the default command we're going to echo out x is equal to 20. Let's clean this up a little bit. All right, so now we cleaned it up, and we're going to see if this works. So pretty much let's do a rundown real quick. We're going to make sure that we open and close our curly braces here. We're going to set the variable x with the value of 20. We're going to start off the switch. We're testing the condition of x, the value. And case, which will be equal to this command right here, this little snippet of code, case x is greater than 20, echo this, is similar to this if statement above over here, echo x is greater than 20. So we're duplicating the result in a different manner. So we're testing the condition x, seeing the value. We'll echo that out if it's true. Otherwise, we'll go to the next value, and then we'll see if that's true. And if that is true, then we'll stop, and then we'll go to the next value if this is not true. So this is the switch statement. It's another way to do conditionals in PHP. It's a very easy to read way, so you might find some developers, favoring this style. In terms of speed, speed and everything is pretty similar. It's just that if you start getting a lot of if, else if, else if, else if, else if, else statements, sometimes you may want to consider using the switch statement instead, since it's a little bit cleaner and a little bit easier to read. And again, just remember, if we're doing comparisons using the comparison operator, you're going to want to make sure that you have the variable in front of it, because if you don't, you're going to get a syntax, you're going to get an error reported when you try to load that in the browser. So let's see if this works. So we're going to first see if x is greater than 20. So we save that. Let's go back to our browser. Conditionals.php. All right, x is equal to 20. All right, so you see that there. Let's increase this real quick so that way you can see it. X is equal to 20. All right, so what happened? So we tested it. Obviously, x is not greater than, it's not lesser than, it's equal to. Now let's change this up. Let's say this is 21. We're going to refresh this. X is greater than 20 because now x is 21. So what if we put it to be 2? And we will refresh. X is less than 20. So it works. The snippet of code works and in effect duplicates the functionality of this first snippet of code just in a different format. All right, so that was the switch conditional statement. It is an alternative to the if else, and I believe that you will find this beneficial when you're starting to use a significant amount of conditionals. A lot of developers like the switch statement, some prefer the if else. Just play around with both, see which one you feel more comfortable with, and whatever works best for your current project or situation. Hopefully you found this episode helpful. And if you did, give us a thumbs up below. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or questions, please leave them in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'll be presenting more PHP tutorials for beginners in this series. And then later on, we'll be doing a more advanced tutorial session talking about things like the database and, how to deal with creating, database tables, things of that nature, and connecting to it with your PHP app. All right, hopefully you enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you next time. Take care.